So for this halter, it's going to be an 8-strand flat noseband, but as it sections off and goes into the upper and lower cheek pieces, the jaw piece, the bottom middle center piece, and the pole band, it's going to be 4 strands all the way around on each one of those, and I'm going to do a round braid instead of a flat braid. Basically kind of like this halter. This is, you know, you've got your nose piece, splits into round braids. Now this is the old round braid that I used to use. I'm going to use a herringbone round braid on this halter just because it's going to be multiple colors and I like the way the herringbone turns out as a candy cane effect versus this round braid, which looks more like a square and afterward with the colors. And then when I get to the pole band, it's going to be 8 strands, and I'm going to do an 8-strand herringbone just to keep the pattern up, and I will get a video of that when I finally get here. So I'm going to be making one of these round instead of flat braided halters like the one I did before this, so you can see how to do both of them. But I want to give you an idea of the actual braids that I will be using because I'm not going to be videoing the actual braids. It's very difficult. I have this tied to my foot. I've got the camera between my legs, and it is not super easy to record. Alright, so the 8-strand, or the 4-strand herringbone is going to be split them into 2, and take your left side, split it between the 2 on the right side, cross it over, so you've got 2 again on the left side. You take the right side, bring it around, cross it between the 2 on the left side, and cross it over, so that you always have 2 on each side. You're going to keep that up, left side between the right 2, behind the back, right side between the left 2, bring it around the back, right side, or left side around in between the right 2, right side all the way around between the left 2, and so on. You're just going to keep going around the back between the 2 on the opposite side. Around the back between the 2 on the opposite side. So it doesn't matter which side you start with, you just have to bring it around the back and bring it between the 2 on the other side. And it gives this like candy cane looking effect. So this is the 4-strand round braid I'm going to be using for all of the pieces on this next halter except the noseband, because I just like flat nosebands. One day I might do a fully round halter, but not today. I like the flat. And when I get to the head pulled piece, I will be doing another version of this where it's an 8-strand. But I'll get a video of that when I get there. So here's the original one like I did on this halter, and you'll see why it looks different. So you keep the 2 sides sectioned off, and you take turns. You bring, let me get it started so you can actually understand better. Okay, so you're going to bring you're going to alternate between 2, and you're always going to bring the right side over on one, and then the next set, you're going to bring the right side under. On the next braid, you're going to bring the right side over, and the next one, you'll bring it under. So you're crossing them over, under. But it's alternating the same side, over, under. Left is going under. And this is what that actually turns out to look like. I personally like the candy cane looking effect, but you could do it like this as well. So I'll be doing this one on that halter. This was the braid that I used on this halter, but because it's all one piece, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't look that way because it's one color. Alright, so there's the section I just did to show you. Herringbone braid, basic round braid. I'm about to do the lead rope to match because my strands are green and purple for the next halter I'm doing, for the 8-strand. And so I'm going to do green and purple for the lead rope as well. This is 2 long strands of about 18 feet folded in half and tied at the top to make a loop so I can slip that through on my halter keep later. I'm going to braid this up using this pattern, and then I will start on the halter. So lead ropes are going to be between 18 to 20 feet if you're folding the strands over and you're wanting to have a loop like this, so that it turns out to be about 7 to 8 feet when you're done braiding. This is going to be a 4-strand lead rope, so each strand is about 18 feet folded in half. Okay, so I have now cut my 4 20-foot strands, which are going to turn into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to make the 8-strand halter. So what you're going to do is fold them in half, like I have done here. Each strand will then be 10 foot long all the way down. And what I'm going to do now is collect them all and pinch them together and tie them with a little string in the middle. Like so. So now I have 4 strands on each side. $10 long on each side. And what I'm going to start to do is make the cheek loop. I'm going to do a 4-strand round and a 4-strand round, just a couple of inches, and bring them together to make the loop. And what loop I'm talking about, like I said in the other halter, is the cheek loop. I'm going to start by making this loop. And as you can see here, I made the loop, brought it down, weaved it together, and then split it off. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This section that's tied in the middle is going to be the top. I'm going to keep it tied together till I get braided down a couple of inches. I'm going to tie off each end so that they don't unbraid. And then I'm going to weave them together and split them back off. See you in a second. Okay, so I have made the cheek loop, this deal. So as you can see, I tie it off in the middle, braid a little down, tie it off, braid enough down to match the same length on the other side, tie it off, weave it together. I took the 2 purple sides from each side and just swapped them so that it was easier to keep track. If you're using all of one color, it doesn't matter. It's just easier if you kind of take like the outside pieces and move them over and keep the inside pieces. It looks a little nicer. And so now I've started braiding down the lower cheek section, like on this, which will go down to the middle jaw. I've started braiding out the upper cheek section that's going to go into the nose band. I'm going to braid a little bit longer. I'm going to tie it off and let that sit there and wait till I catch up and I'm able to join the 2 strands together to make the nose band. I'm going to braid this down a little more to make that cheek piece, braid it longer to make that jaw piece. Then I'm going to make this loop, the bottom loop that the lead rope goes into. And then I'm going to weave it back up through itself the same way I did this loop. So I'll braid that all the way down, make another loop, weave it through itself, come back up like this, and then I will join the 2 together to make the nose piece. Alright, so I have finished bringing this down, turning it into the lead rope loop, weaving it up into itself, bringing it back up on its own little, like weaving it into itself and then resplitting it off and making this lower nose band. I brought it together with the upper one and I made the flat nose band braid, brought it all the way across and split it to make this other lower nose band, which will come down here, and like in the other halter, I will loop it through these individual little sections and make that like middle jaw piece. I'll break it off again and make this right side lower cheek piece, and I will braid this upper cheek piece from the other side, make it the same length as this one, and then the other side of these 2 will come together to make the pole strap. You can see Lugnut's helping me, or rather taking a nap on my old halter. For some reason he loves the way Canyon smells. So it's almost there. Hopefully that makes sense. You just bring this down, braid it into a loop, weave it back through itself. It's not always perfect looking. Bring it up, meet it with the upper cheek piece, make your nose band, split it back off again to do the opposite side lower nose band and the upper cheek. Alright, so I will get these 2 braided up. I'll get this to be the same length that this needs to be, and as soon as I'm done braiding this to where it needs to stop to become the pole strap, I'll tie it off. I'm going to braid this down to be the same length as this, and when I get to the knot, or not the knot, the weave, I will join it together, run it through to probably about here to make that throat area, that lower throat, break it off into the jaw piece, and I will get a video from there, and then I'll show you how to join the two together. Okay, now I have finished everything. Just wanted to kind of update. I finished braiding this, made the nose band, brought it around, finished braiding the length down, and I weaved it into that bottom jaw piece. Ended up making just one giant round braid. That was very tedious and took a long time because I can't even explain how I did this. Good luck. Weave it in somehow, and then I resplit it, made that right side cheek piece, finished braiding this long piece, and then once I got them together, I braided them into an 8-strand herringbone, which is like the 4-strand, but instead of going behind and splitting 2, you go behind and split 4. So you wrap one side around, go under 2, over 2, and to take the opposite side, go behind, go under 2, over 2. There are videos on YouTube for that one, but you could honestly braid, a flat braid if you wanted as well. So hopefully this helps you make a mule tape halter. And the way I do these, it is all one continuous braid. There are no spots where it is tied together, no weak spots, no awkward looking spots where it's doubled up. It's flat on the nose, or you could do this braid on the nose band as well if you wanted. I like the flat though. Flat braid on the nose, splits in half on all the other individual pieces. The only spots where it's doubled up and thick are the nose band and the pole strap. But there you go, a mule tape halter. Okay, before I finish this completely, I just wanted to show you the lead rope that I made. So it's slightly lighter than the halter, but it still matches. And all I did was an 4-strand herringbone, the same braid that I did all of these, that I'm going to make the video to show you that braid. So now I want to show you how I put them together, which is going to be awkward because I have to change positions real quick, so bear with me here. Okay, so I've got the camera propped up. So you take the loop in the lead rope, and you take the chin strap, or the chin loop on the halter. And the way I do this, you could actually either loop it through and then pull the tail end through itself, so it basically cinches on itself like that. Tail end through. Just kind of demo this. Like that, but pull it all the way through. The way I do it though is slightly different. And I actually do this whether I have a loop in my lead rope or if I just braid it all the way to the end and I tie it in a knot and burn the end. I do the same exact loop, and I'll show you that too in case you ever have just a piece of rope that you need to catch a horse with. It's a pretty simple, easy thing. So you take the loop from the halter and you slide the loop of the lead rope over it and pull it up, and then you take the tail end of the lead rope and pull it through. And let me get all the slack pulled out of here. And you actually take, and it ends up like this, and it's like a slip knot. You pull it down, and voila. So let me get this undone and I'll show you the tail end version. Okay, and then the other way that I tie this lead rope on is pretend there is no loop here and this is just a knot that's burned. What I do is I take the loop of the halter, I'd pull the end of the lead rope through, give yourself enough slack, through, it doesn't matter if you go through the front or through the back like this, just whatever side it comes out, wrap it around the back side of that side, and then pull it back through. So essentially, cinches down on itself. And once it's snug, no matter how hard a horse pulls back, This will not come undone. It bites down on itself. It's like a cinch or a square knot deal. So I'll show you the other way too. If you went in through the front, you would come around the back, or in my case it's the front on the camera, and then back through the side that it went through. And it's just a square knot. Alright, so there you have it. A couple of different ways to slip a lead rope on, whether you have enough to make long enough strands to loop it over and braid like I did on this one, or if you've just got long enough strands to braid one long lead rope and tie and burn each end, you can pretty much attach it to any rope halter like that. I've done them with the nylon rope halters, I've done them with my muletape halters, I've even done it with the nylon halters with the buckle on it, like the flat nylon halters that they make, but it works better with rope halters. And there you go. Okay, so one more thing about this knot that I do, the one that you can slide over the lead rope loop and pull the lead rope through. To attach it, I do a very similar knot on a buckle. So it is easier to do this if you make a loop, because you can pull the loop through and then pull the tail end through it and do a knot like, you know, one of those basic cinch knots. But it works the same way if you go so you slip this part over and then pull the tail through. And then pull the rest of it down. Of course, it gets stuck on itself. The other way to do it is just pull the edge of it through, loop it over, then pull the tail through. But that's one of the reasons why I like to get 2 long strands, fold them in half, and leave this loop, because then you can put a buckle on your lead rope really easily. And then, of course, you know, buckle it onto your halter.